Everybody good? All right, good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. On Thursday, October 4th, Major Crimes Bureau, Metro Detail, assumed the handle on a burglary series occurring in the Malibu Canyon area. The initial investigation began with the Lost Hills Sheriff Station detectives. The recent burglaries occurring over the past 3 months have been linked to one individual. It is believed that this suspect could be responsible for several similar burglaries occurring over the past 2 years. In each of the burglaries, food items were stolen, and the time of the burglaries ranged between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. Detectives developed an investigative plan after reviewing key evidence, including a video depicting the suspect in one of the recent burglaries. The plan included a coordinated, comprehensive search of a vast area located in the heart of Malibu Canyon. Earlier today, at about 10 o'clock this morning, Major Crimes personnel, Lost Hills Sheriff Station personnel, members of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Aero Bureau, and members of the Malibu Search and Rescue Team deployed resources in the Malibu Canyon area to be able to conduct a detailed search for the suspect and evidence related to these crimes. After several hours, investigators observed fresh boot prints in the ground leading up to a steep ravine approximately a mile north of Mulholland Highway and west of Las Virgenes Road. With the assistance of air support, detectives followed the boot prints approximately 50 yards. Shortly after that, they heard movement amongst the brush, followed by observing a male adult wearing black clothing, walking quickly, who resembled the suspects in the burglaries. Air support confirmed the individual's location, and it was learned that he was armed with a rifle. Investigators contained the suspect in the heavy brush area and ordered him to drop the rifle and surrender. After a few tense moments of communicating with the suspect, he opted to surrender and was taken into custody without incident about 3:20 this afternoon. The rifle was recovered and the suspect was transported to Lost Hills Sheriff Station, where he is being booked for an active no-bail felony parole violation warrant. And detectives arrested 42-year-old male suspect Anthony Rauda. The suspect does have a criminal history with various weapons violations and burglaries. Let me kick it over now. I'm joined here by Senator Henry Stern, representing the 27th Senate District.
Spell
Senator,
that last name, please, Sheriff.
The Senator?
Anthony Rauda.
I'm sorry. R-A-U-D-A.
Thanks, Sheriff. I'm here on behalf of the community we represent in the Santa Monica Mountains, Malibu, Calabasas, Hidden Hills, Agoura, unincorporated LA, and frankly, much of that region of the Southland has been on pins and needles since we learned about this series of burglaries. I think that residents in the community can rest a bit easier tonight knowing that someone has been apprehended, and also rest a bit easier knowing that the men and women in this department and in the other agencies collaborating in this effort, from state parks, we even had search and rescue deputies out there who were on reserve. I mean, you're talking about a true collaborative effort. This is not easy country. These are steep ravines, complicated territory, and what looks like a very complicated suspect here. So we're incredibly grateful to the sheriff and all the state and local partners as well, especially our men and women at Lost Hills Sheriff Department. They keep us safe and sound as a matter of habit in that part of Los Angeles, but tonight they're a little safer and a little sounder. So thank you, and here to help and assist as needed.
Thank you, Senator. I'd now like to introduce Public Safety Superintendent Tony Hoffman from the California State Parks, who was a great partner throughout this series. Sir?
Hello. Collaborative effort was mentioned, and I want to express our deepest gratitude to the men and women of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff McDonnell, Captain Ty from Lost Hills, and of course the Major Crime Unit. Without their efforts, this arrest wouldn't have happened. There are other partners that have helped along the way, including the California Highway Patrol, National Park Service, the Mountains Recreation Conservation Authority, and Everybody worked real hard, and we're very happy with the culmination of the arrest of this burglary suspect.
Thanks, sir. Let me open it up for any questions. Please keep in mind there's certain things that this is very early in the investigation, particularly as it relates to the suspect. So we'll answer what we can, but please understand for that we can't. Pete?
Sheriff, beyond the possession of the rifle itself and the one with parole violation, any of the evidence taken shows this guy is tied to these multiple burglaries?
There is evidence to indicate that. The prudent charge to book him on tonight would be the parole violation. And then we can investigate. We have time to be able to dig into the components of those crimes.
I'm jumping a little bit here. I noticed that homicide is not here and here. Have we done enough of an investigation on this that we are still open to the idea of this man maybe tied to Tristan Bodette, or no at this point?
We can't say no at this point. Certainly that is going to be part of the ongoing investigation. Homicide is working closely with the rest of the team.
When it comes to this person, how would you describe him? He's being described as a survivalist, Sheriff. How would you describe him, and what exactly was he doing in the wilderness for presumably 2 straight years?
Yeah, I don't know that we know that yet, and the people who have spoken with him directly are not here. They're out dealing with the interviews and the work that needs to be done tonight. And keep in mind that this is just a couple of hours old that he's been in custody. And so I'm not sure where they are in the investigation as it relates to digging into his personality, his background, his motivations, but we will get there.
Where exactly was he living?
I don't have that information at this point. I don't know if he was living in the brush or if there was housing up there. We'll find that out.
We saw a number of bags being carried out with evidence. Can you tell us a little bit about what was in those bags?
Not yet. Yeah, too early.
Can you talk more about all the different burglaries that you might be looking into?
We can't say how many it's linked to. We're looking at a number of burglaries that occurred going back to October 10th of 2016 in the unincorporated area of Calabasas, October 28th of 16. Also at the building was broken into a few miles north of Malibu Creek State Park at the ends of Public Park in the city of Calabasas. March 8th of 2017 in the 26800 block of Mulholland Highway in the unincorporated area of Calabasas. There was another one. July 27th, 2018, Agora Hills, Calabasas Community Center on Malibu Hills Road in Calabasas. September 24th of this year, 700 block of Malibu Canyon, unincorporated Calabasas. September 30th, 26800 block of Mulholland Highway, the unincorporated area of Calabasas. October 4th of this year, 700 block of Malibu Canyon, unincorporated Malibu area. And then October 9th, 27,000 block of Malibu Hills Road, Calabasas. So we're looking at, those are the burglaries in the area. We're looking at any tie or investigative leads into any connection there between the suspect and those burglaries.
You said when he was arrested that you noticed, that the people there noticed that he was armed. How did that go down? How did the arrest go down? And were you worried that he was going to open fire at any point?
Well, certainly, I haven't talked to the detectives who were actually there or read any reports from that, but I do know, based on the terrain there, that it's heavy vegetation. The detectives work in that area. Searching an area like this certainly put themselves in harm's way to make the arrest. The individual, as we can presume, was very familiar with that wooded area and potentially could have been a threat at any point to the detectives doing that search, following footprints, which ultimately, when they found the footprints, led to the individual just 50 yards away. So a very dangerous search, and thankfully it worked out as well as it did. Restraint, I would say, certainly on the part of the detectives, but also, we don't know enough yet to be able to say what the suspect's perspective was or positioning relative to the detectives.
Sheriff, a question regarding the rifle that you recovered. What type of rifle?
Yeah, we're not going into any of that yet.
Is anything tied to reports of shots in the area? Like same caliber weapon or something along those lines?
Yeah, we won't go into type or caliber or anything like that at this point, too early.
Why is his face covered, Sheriff?
Thank you for that. We covered his face because we don't know what else he may have been involved in, if anything, and we want to be able to preserve the integrity of a photo show-up, should that be a helpful investigative tool. So we don't want to, limit our options as far as the investigation goes.
Can you talk about his priors?
Basically, just in general terms, weapons violations and burglaries.
Do any of the videos that were taken at any of the places you broke into match what you have here in this man?
Generally speaking, yes. Yep.
Do you believe he acted alone?
Those are the indications we have at this point. Yeah, there's nothing I have seen or am aware of at this point to indicate a partner or others.
How extensive was the camp area or the place where your deputies and detectives actually took him in? Was this an established hide that he had set up, water, food, everything else?
Yeah, I don't have that, Pete, yet. Yeah, they wrapped up what was out there, they processed the scene, but I don't have the detail on that.
Sheriff, we have indications that he's also from Florida, where some of these violations occurred in the state of Florida, and is that where he is originally from, or is he?
You have more than I do then on that. Yeah, I don't have that Florida information.
With these violations and these burglaries, were they in Southern California?
Do we know that? Was it? Huh? Yeah, no, all we have is the general terms on that background information.
How long has he been out of jail?
Do you know that? No. Real preliminary information at this point.
Sheriff, can you talk about, I imagine it was a huge undercover operation the last several days. You had the big search up there Saturday. Must have been a lot of fellas, under plain clothes. Talk about that, and just it's a big area, as a senator.
Yeah.
What you found the guy.
Yeah. No, we had a lot of people up there who have plainclothes assignments, some undercover assignments. They were involved, but likewise, we had uniformed patrol deputies up there. We had search and rescue reserve deputies as well. There were a lot of people involved in this and using a lot of tools and tactics that I wouldn't go into specifics, but that we were hopeful would be helpful that day. Fortunately, we were able to get back today and isolate a more refined area, and then the detectives were able to make the arrest this afternoon.
And I imagine it's just because that area is so wide with the canyons and so forth that I assume this guy could hide out like that for so long, and maybe you guys are looking for him, he's still hard to find.
Yeah, it's a very large area, and trying to be able to limit the amount of search area to something that was doable, something where you got to keep in mind the tactics you have to employ when you're searching an area. You don't want to expose yourself to potential danger either any more than you have to. And I mentioned earlier the actions the detectives took this afternoon did put themselves in a position where they were potentially vulnerable in a very difficult ravine area to be able to take this guy into custody. We're thankful it worked out as well as it did.
Sheriff, how close was he to the public hiking trails in that area?
He was about a mile to a mile and a half from the road area. So he was in a ravine fairly well into the woods.
For the people who live in the Calabasas, Malibu area that have been, as the state senator was saying, on edge now for some time,
All right.
do you tell them tonight you are confident the investigation is moving forward to find the person that is an alleged sniper that's been hiding out in the wilderness?
Not at this point. We will continue the vigilance that we have been conducting up to this point. We will not back away from that until we can follow the investigation further to be able to rule out that there were any additional suspects involved, or that that this suspect is not the one tied to some of the other activity.
Did he say anything to you when he was arrested?
I don't have any of that information yet. The detectives were out at the scene, and they then took him to Lost Hill Station, so I was not there for that.
Sheriff, what are some of the other businesses that he broke into over the past 2 years? We saw the community center and now the Valley Farm. What else?
They were mostly outbuildings in the wooded area. There was also the Las Virgenes Municipal Water District, a building there. The rest of them not identified by any specific building, but my impression is that they were outbuildings.
There are reports that in prior security video that he was seen in tactical gear and was carrying a rifle. We talked about the weapon. Was tactical gear found on him or anything else that you can tell us?
I don't know that it was found at the scene. Would you classify what Eddie, you want to talk?
Just what he was wearing. You see,
Captain, identify yourself.
Yeah, Eddie Hernandez, Captain of Major Crimes Bureau.
Not a bulletproof vest there, Eddie?
No, it's not. It's actually looks like some type of, almost looks more like Under Armour type of material. Obviously, again, I wasn't there either, but I spoke to the detectives, and that's definitely not a vest. It's all black, and it looks like some type of nylon type of Under Armour type of material with what he was wearing.
Captain, by tactical gear, you be talking about things like either body armor, helmets, load-bearing equipment. Any of that found at all?
No, none of that was found.
Captain, so the witness who saw this man on Saturday, I believe, you said, or officials said that there was some interaction between them. Was there anything that the witness said to deputies? Was he threatening to that man in any way? Did he characterize what that interaction was like at all?
Yeah, thanks for that question. Actually, on that witness, Major Crimes detectives follow up with that witness. We had a forensic sketch artist come out, and that sketch, after reviewing it and comparing it to the evidence we had, we were able to determine that that individual who contacted that employee was either a hiker or just in the area, actually legitimately asking for a ride.
And just so we're clear, could you narrate the two photos for us so we know what we're looking at besides the suspect himself?
That is, well, that's in the area where they actually detained him. That area up there with the circle, that's more of a elevated view of where he was. And the one on the bottom is just to show how steep some of those ravines and some of those climbs can be. It's open area, and then it goes into heavy brush.
So he wasn't in that brush?
No, that's just to show you kind of put the terrain in context.
So he was over past that hill?
I'm not certain about that. Again, it was just to kind of give you guys a context of, because we were talking about vast area, we're talking about steep ravines and stuff. So that's just one of the ravines that they had to climb to keep going on there.
This might be for the park supervisor, but have state parks, have there ever been any issues before with people living in the parks that you know of? Is this the first time that someone was found in this way who might have been living in the parks?
Yeah, occasionally we do have transient types living in the parks, usually down along the coast where there's better resources, and that's where we usually concentrate our efforts against illegal camping.
Will you be advising the Pomona campus, the Pepperdine campus, that it's okay to go back into the park?
We never advised them that it wasn't okay, so if they reach out to us, we're happy to answer their questions.
Sheriff, they advise their students not to go into Malibu Creek State Park. What would you say to the campus right now?
Josh, you want to take it? Captain Josh Ty is the captain for Malibu Lost Hills Station, THAI.
Sir, can you repeat that question one more time, please?
Captain, Pepperdine advised their students to stay away from Malibu Creek State Park with the arrest of this burglar. Would you say to Pepperdine that it's safe to go back into the park?
Absolutely, and I think we have been doing a lot of proactive approach and proactive patrol in the area with the assistant with state parks and working with their Department of Public Safety to make sure that people are safe, the students and the park goers.
So I guess what I'm confused, because we're going to go out to Calabasas tonight, we're going to go out to Malibu, and all of these people are going to say the same thing to us. Is there still a sniper out there? And so we don't really have the answer to say to them. So are we still advising those residents to be vigilant and to be mindful of their surroundings, or can they sleep a little better tonight?
Absolutely. You know, I mean, obviously, there's always that precautionary, and there's still investigation beyond this point. And I think the community still should call us if they see anything that is out in the ordinary or something that worth for us to look at. We're still going to provide active patrol through the area. Obviously, it's not going to stop here. We're going to continue our efforts to make sure the publics are safe.
But if you're saying that this is not the sniper in the park, then
We're not saying that. We're saying that the investigation it's very early in the investigation. The suspect was only taken into custody a few hours ago. So we're not going to say that yes, he is, or that no, he's not. We don't have that information yet. There'll be a lot of work done. We've got a weapon in custody. Ballistics tests will be performed on that, among many other scientific tests, to be able to try and tie the individual to crimes or to eliminate him potentially from other crimes.
Do you have any evidence that he is linked to those shootings?
Too early to tell. Yeah.
Sheriff, does he have a middle name, Oscar, perhaps?
I don't have that. No, Anthony Rauda was the name that we have.
And we don't know, the military service, Marines, we don't know?
Yeah, I don't know that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you very much.